Hello, everyone, and welcome to the month of September, where I'm going to be talking about the Rooster Month and what the Feng Shui and flying star is of this particular month. So, it's really important for you guys to understand that energy is constantly changing, right? And we put a lot of emphasis on what's happening in the annual energies, but with this particular pandemic that's happening, I think it's very important for us to stay really focused on where we can get our best work done or get our lives back on track by using the good energies of the space. And I really believe if you start following this, you are putting your life back in control. You are in control versus worrying about what others can do for you, as well as you having the opportunity to really achieve your goals, be more vibrant, be healthier, attract better relationships, and actually get the clients that you are intending to work with. So if you're new to me, my name is Kathleen Zemansky. I'm a business feng shui master, astrologer, and the creator of the TimeBlazr business management system. So we're going to jump in and let's head on over to see what we're going to be talking about. So first of all, yes, we are in the year of the metal rat. For some of you who are new to Chinese metaphysics, the metal rat came in around February 4th of this year, and it has been pretty much a trying year ever since the beginning. So what we want to do is really see how we can maneuver around those energies a lot faster and quicker, and really with some balance, right? So if you are new to me, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. You can like, comment, share, and obviously ring that bell to have notices about us at any given moment so you know what the up-to-date information is about. Okay, it's a big shift year, as I said at the very beginning. And when I talked about the annual energies at my annual event, which I think is a very important piece for people to understand about how these energies shift and what is in someone's chart, for example, on is it going to be a better year or is it going to be more of a challenging year. And this year has been a year where there's been a lot of fear, uncertainty, and it doesn't have to be that way. There are things that are clearly out of an individual's control. I talked about at my annual event this year about how we are going to be having these super viruses, that you're going to be wearing face coverings, and you're going to really need to even do your business in a very different way. It's not same old, same old. I was predicting this January the 19th, and I was writing the copy for this about this time last year. So we knew that it was coming. Now I hope that you're seeing that astrology and metaphysics are in line with science. We are looking at this for probably another year before it's really going to be under control. Yeah, we're going to start maybe seeing things flatten along the way. So we need everyone to do their part as well. So one of the things you can do is obviously follow your local regulations on what you're supposed to be doing to curb this pandemic. Do your part. But then there's also things that you can do to really take control of your life. Know what's going on in your chart and start understanding your space. I believe now more than ever, because of the shelter in place mandates and guidelines depending on where you're living, that your space is going to be very important. It can help you heal. It can help you get more clients. It can help you have better relationships. It can help you have a better mindset. To know in Feng Shui that if you are in a certain area, it's going to have a certain vibration. When you're in another, which could be positive or negative, and going into another area, that's the same kind of idea. So we want to make sure to stay away from the negativity and then get into that better vibration. And it is a matter of using your body as the antenna. Now, there's another thing that I'd like to point out to you right from the get-go is that when clients call me, there's a huge misconception about Feng Shui. I do practice classical feng shui, which is pretty much my business model, person, space, time, and universe. So we look at all of those components in a holistic manner. And we never start on the inside of a space. That's what people have been misinformed about from the very beginning, I think, in the Western world, that really you need to look outside. You need to find out what energies are surrounding the space that you are living or working at. Is it positive? Does it have nice, what we call landform? Does it have nice mountains or hills that are lush and green? Or is it craggy and a lot of dead trees and man-made negative forms like pylons or other buildings that might be dissecting your own building? That's going to downgrade the feng shui of your space. So what do we do to upgrade that, right? So one of the ways I believe that can really help you is at this point in time. Now, this is something that I do anyway, but I think it would be value to you. That's why I'm doing this, is for you to start understanding what the monthly energies are about. And it's a matter of you just going into those areas to start absorbing those energies so that you can have a better outcome in life. Life will be easier when you're using the positive, right? So it's like we liken feng shui to acupuncture. Typically, when you go to an acupuncturist, you're going to be best served by going to them for prevention. Yes, they can work on critical health issues, if you will, but it's going to take a little bit longer. So the same goes for your space. If you're already starting out with a great space and starting out with great landform that is surrounding your building, it's going to be easier. But if you have the negativity or challenging things that are happening in your space, then things are going to be a little bit more challenging. So what I'm asking you to do is have an open mind, try this, and see if you're starting to get into a better vibration. Okay? All right. All right, let's go back to our presentation here. The thing that I want to talk to you about is the person, space, and time. And so here is one of my astrology charts. It's just a sample chart. So what I suggest for you to do is run the charts of all the people that you're sheltering in place with. Go to freebusinessastrology.com. Those are also linked below with several other links of free things that you can do to help yourself. So there's a lot of things obviously going on in this particular chart, but for today's purposes, what we're going to talk about is your natal chart. So your year of birth is about your networking efforts. It's about the people you know. You're always going to want to network up. You're also going to want to feng shui up. You're going to also want to elevate your chart. How do you know that? By starting to understand some of the things that are happening in your chart. And so then we go to our month of birth. Our month of birth is about your career, what you're best suited at doing. It's also about your character. And so there's sometimes when people say to you, oh, you've changed. Well, maybe it's the energies of the year that are happening, or something that is happening within a month that has created this shift in your character, good or bad. Your day of birth is about you. It's a very important pillar that you really fully understand who you are. It's about your personal growth. It is about your mindset. This is such an important concept. I can't tell you how many people that I have done feng shui for, or even an astrology reading for, and start talking to people about what their potential are, and they'll say, oh, that's great, or have feng shuied, and then they have brought in what they want to bring in and they push it away because their mind was not ready for the success, the relationship, the good health, whatever the case may be. They're asking for it, but really they're not embodying it. So this is a really important pillar for you to take control of. If there's anything I would focus on first, would be your date of birth. What are your true potentials, and how can you be the best that you can be? It's the day of birth that will determine that. Now, the last pillar is that we're going to be talking about today is your hour of birth, and your hour of birth is about your dreams and aspirations. It's about your goals. What are you setting for yourself? If it's a goal, most likely you have set the parameters to that. Is it clear? Is it concise? Is it reachable? Are you reaching for the stars, but it's in another galaxy? I want you to really have big goals. I really want you to envelop that you can be successful. But if you don't have a plan to reach it, you're never going to get there. And I believe that Chinese metaphysics can help you get to the ends of the means by understanding yourself better, understanding your space better, launching your important activities on a good day and time with the TimeBlazr, as well as using the spirit realm of really manifesting things that are in a way that the universe is really helping to provide for what you want. But you need to take action. This is not you're watching the wrong person on the wrong channel if you think it's a magic bullet that you just place an object over here and I've done the Feng Shui and you're done. That is not what Feng Shui is. And over the course of time of following me here, we'll give you tidbits on what can help you and what can harm you. Okay, so now let's go here's one quick resource I wanted to tell you about as well. That this is from my annual event in January. So what I want you to do is, this is the month of September. You might want to go listen to the video on that. And then there's also I do a couple of different things about timing, and so I'll tell you about those along the way. But there are some links below that will tell you either about the month in the year of the metal rat and or just things about the astrology as well. Okay, so we've got that. And so let's now talk about the space. So this is the annual flying star chart for 2020. And really what I want to let you know is every day for the next 9 days, I'm going to be talking about each one of these sectors individually. I'm going to start out with the center palace, and then we're going to go to the southeast, south in a clockwise direction. So let's talk about the center. So first of all, the center palace is about legal. Now your center palace is the center of your house. You want it to be as open as possible. We don't really want to see things like, even though I'm sure architecturally many of these things are in many buildings and we have to, kind of do the work around them, but it can cause some consequences. This is called the heavenly heart. This is the heart center of your building, right? And even if you rent one room in a larger suite or a larger complex, if you have complete control over it, as in I can move furniture around with anybody getting ticked off, or I can paint a wall or something like that, this is where I want you to focus on. Do what you can have complete control over and don't worry so much about the other. Let's hope that we have maybe more of a domino effect in the respect that, things are going really well for you. Can you help me with my space here? Especially if it's a shared space and you have other people that you are sharing the space with and they're in agreement with you, then great. Don't start any more trouble, communication wise with people you're sheltering in place with. That I'm kind of hearing people are kind of going a little bit batty at this point, but it is something that I want you to start to consider. Work on the space that you have control over. Okay, so the center palace, and this is long-term or short-term, we don't really like to see water in the center, like a bathroom, any type of water element, because it drains the heavenly heart. We don't like to see, which is probably the most dangerous, we don't want to see fire, like a fireplace, a furnace, something like that. We don't want to see that in the center because it burns up the heavenly heart. Then we don't want to see things like storage, especially if it's all clogged up and not organized. You're just throwing crap into a storage area because that's going to clog the heavenly heart. And then the last thing, we don't really want to see like a stairwell, an elevator, like in a big either apartment building or a big office building. We don't want to see that elevator shaft right in the center, which is typically where they put them, because this pierces the heavenly heart. And when you pierce, drain, puncture, when you're doing all the things to the heavenly heart, just imagine your body on, if we had all of these things happening to your heart, you wouldn't be feeling very well, you wouldn't be very productive, and you wouldn't be able to do the things that you are required to do. It really does have some pretty adverse effects. So, but I get that people do have these things, and so we just have to do the workaround. Keep them as orderly as you can, keep them as open as possible, because we want the chi and the energy to circulate around. Okay? All right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is now we're going to start looking at the monthly influences. So we are in the Rooster month officially as of September the 7th, and that will go all the way through to October the 7th. And we have what's called a 1-7 combination. Take note, when I'm talking about all of these sectors, the number on the right-hand side is going to be the annual influence, and the monthly, obviously changing every month, at the time of the shift of the energy. So in this particular case, the 7th of September, the left-hand side is going to be the monthly energies. And then when we put them together, what we end up having is a combination. And this combination starts telling us a story. So I'm already going to go to this next slide here while I tell you a little bit about the 1-7 combination. So the 1-7, I want you to start thinking about imagery when we're talking about the various different areas, okay? So when we look at the imagery of a 1 and a 7, so a 1 is, it's water. It's just water. It's big open water. And then the 7 is more like a marsh. So a marsh typically has a little bit of soil and some plants and things like that. So really what I want you to think about is like this container of water. So this container of water, without this container, it will not be able to hold this water. It would just go willy-nilly all over the place. So willy-nilly, that's kind of an old term there. So basically what I want you to think about is what we can do with that containment. So now let's think about what else that it does. It's more about looking at how to keep this energy vibrant and filtered, if you will. So that's what a marsh can do. Now there is some discrepancy, I would say, from the original way, and I'm going to go with what I see and know. A marsh is very, very important. There is an incredible ecosystem that happens with a marsh. Usually, right, it's a tidal water, so the water is moving in and out, and there's a lot of plant life and animal life that is happening because of the marsh. So I think it's very, very important. Now, I have been trained to say that a marsh is a smelly, stinky thing. It is not. If the marsh is healthy, it is attracting so much and keeping our ecosystem in balance. So I like to look at it more in that respect, okay? So we are looking at being flexible, being within the flow. And so this is allowing you to have things come to fruition so that they're useful for you, but it's also having a little bit of discipline. So the metal, 1 is water, 7 is metal, so it's a water-metal combination. So the metal is more about your discipline, right? It's also about talking a little bit. So that's something that I want you to think about. So if you have great ideas, I want you to start talking about them. I want you to start putting systems in place. Otherwise, they're just a dream. Something that's not written down, an action that's being taken, it is just a pipe dream. Let's take those and put them into a workable system so that you can now start having ways of implementation, okay? So you got to have a strategy and implementation for it to work. What are the tactics that you're going to be able to get there? So being in the center palace while you're working on your goals and working on your strategies, even if it's for an hour a day while you're figuring things out, this is where I would say, let's go have some time there. So it's an excellent sector if you want to implement a new habit or take better control of things like what you are eating. So, I like to use, certain areas to in certain days specifically with the TimeBlazr to implement and get things going. But then once it's happening, is like, how are we forming those nice new habits? So this is something that you can start thinking about. So it's very good about self-discipline and having good choices there. Okay, so it's as I said, a great place to put systems in place, but you got to know what the system is too. So this is a really good sector to go figure out what you're going to be doing. If you haven't figured out what your goals are, truthfully, I have like a 5-year, I actually have an exit strategy for my business, but I also want to have you start thinking about, like, what are your goals for 2021? Don't wait till that, January 21st and start thinking, or January 1st to think, oh, what am I going to do in 2021? Start thinking now. Start planning it now. What do you need to accomplish to successfully fill out this year? Because this year has been a crazy year. What you set potentially last year this time, or at the beginning of the year, whenever you do set your goals, maybe they were no longer relevant as of March or April of this year because of COVID. Now that we know that we're in this vibration of turbulent times, let's try to bring some that chaos theory into play, that everything's kind of up in the air, and then things, as they start to settle, what are we going to do with it? I believe truly, truly, truly that with disruption, there's huge opportunity. So if there's ever been a year in your lifetime that there's been such disruption, I would say this is one of those years. And if you've had huge disruptions, if you are of a certain age, you've probably had a few life lessons up to this point. So what did you learn from them? Or did you just go on to the next thing and learn nothing? That is something I want you to have a mindset around. What can we learn from this particular experience that we've gone through? I hope a lot, and I hope you've become a better person from it. So that's something that I want you to think about as well. Okay, now let's look at another piece right here, and that is going into the annual Feng Shui. Now, when you're looking at the, let's look at this particular dial first, sorry. So this particular dial is the annual Feng Shui dial. I have linked below the link that you can get this particular dial and the annual Feng Shui dial. So as you can see, this is just corresponding to a compass dial that you would superimpose over an accurate floor plan. This is very important, you guys, that when you're starting to use these energies, I want you to think about getting an accurate floor plan. There are several different ways that you can do it during this time. It might not be as easy if you don't have one right now, but if you are renting or leasing, ask your property management. Typically, they do have floor plans. If they don't have them, there are apps out there that you can get a floor plan. I've tried them, not too successfully, but I just have somebody come in and draw all my floor plans, draft them for me. But then there's also things like Google that you can just get an aerial of your property and then superimpose that. If you are in an area where Google has come around to do your particular area that you're living or working in, and then you can just take a screenshot and put those over the dial. Now, this will not have the exact rooms, but it's better than nothing. Or take out that old tape measure and start measuring out as accurately can and hand draw them out until things open up for you to have someone come in and draft those plans for you. Okay, the next one that I will have us look at is the annual Feng Shui. So in the Center Palace, we really don't have anything as far as the Feng Shui dial is concerned. So we'll be talking about the other areas when we go into the Feng Shui piece of it. But what I wanted to let you know is that even if you're just starting with me for the first time, what I want you to know is use the green avoid the red. So our best sectors in 2020 is going to be the west, which is the rooster direction. It's very good for long-term investments, if you will, and the northeast, which is the ox sector. Now the goat is what is good as well, but there's some things that you're going to have to watch out for, and I'll talk about those more in depth when we get to those sectors. But I just wanted to let you know, for right now, this dial is available to you as well. Now the last thing that I want to talk to you about is the TimeBlazr. This is my proprietary calendar that's based on, again, your astrology. And so this is something that you may want to have a look at as well. Now, every Tuesday, I do a free YouTube live that is called TimeBlazr Tuesday, which is already up and loaded so that you can go and plan out your week. I'm also giving away a 30-day complimentary free trial so that if you are interested in getting this personalized version, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the intricacies of that because I just talked about them on another video, but you can just go to free30timetrial.com. If that was too quick, just grab that link below and then go ahead and sign up for a 30-day trial. And there's no credit card required at this time. And so then what you're going to want to do is also implement good timing when you are looking at this particular calendar. And then the last, or not the last, there's still a couple of things I would like to tell you about. One is that, of course, if you are new to us, we would love for you to like, comment, share, and then ring that bell so you get further notices from us. And then the last thing that I'd like to talk to you about is my annual upcoming event, 2021 Metal Ox. And it is January the 16th and 17th. It is going to be live stream only, and it's going to be 11 to 5 p.m. Pacific every single day. So the URL you're going to want to go to is bit.ly/ox. And I want to just make sure that I'm on that right screen. I don't think so. So let me go back here to this, so just so you can see that very quickly, is the dates are January the 16th and 17th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it's bit.ly/ox. Okay, you guys, I will wrap it up for today. I really do thank you so much for your time today, because I do know that it is precious. And I really hope that you will take to heart that when you start putting your body into the right vibration, life will be easier. So get away from the victimhood, get away from I can't, you don't understand, because really I don't understand why someone can't pick up their phone, which is almost like a computer, or it is a computer today, or your laptop or something like that, and go into a different area just so you can recharge your body, recharge your business, and overall have life be easier. Life's tough enough, so why make it any harder? So, all right, I'm going to see you tomorrow. We're going to talk about the southeast sector, where we've got some pretty good energy to talk about as well. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.